Okay guys, let's talk about Invincible Season 2, Episode 5. And to go ahead and start, I'm going to clear a lot of the air out of the room. In the last Invincible video, I gave them the benefit of the doubt with the break and said, hey, maybe the animators need to take some more work into it. Maybe they need some more time. We're going to give them a break for the holidays because it ended before December time. So I'm like, it's cool. And then there were some false leaks around some also from people who broke their Fire Stick, and it said that they'd be on there in January. So everybody thought, okay, it's probably going to come out in January. It's cool. They can have the holidays off. It's completely fine. January 22nd, I made a post on this very channel that they announced it wasn't going to come back until March 14th. 2 whole months later. Like 3 or 4 months since the last episode came out. Personally, I still wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they wanted some more time. I'm cool with giving animators time to do stuff because I don't want them to have crunch time. I don't want them to rush things and then the final product will not look finished and then we'll yell at them for it not being finished, and it's just a weird cycle that continued to happen. But that's not the reason why Invincible took so long to come out. I think a lot of people speculated at this point, and honestly it might possibly be true that they waited on the second half of Invincible to come out because they wanted to implement the Prime ads on the system and everything first before finishing up Invincible, so they can have everybody who watches Invincible get hit with a shit ton of ads, because that's what we want to see in the middle of our fantastical melodramatic superhero show. And then after that episode finally came out and went, it started another conversation that is slightly interesting to me, but there's not enough nuance to necessarily talk about it. A lot of people have been complaining about breaks in shows in general and the fact that it kills hypes for a lot of shows entirely. And one of the big examples that came with that was when JoJo's Part 6 came out, and it took a long break, like a whole year, and then it batch released the second half. I still haven't watched that second half, so I do kind of agree on that point. But at the same time, I do think other shows do it kind of well. I didn't mind when Rick and Morty did it for seasons 4 and 5. I didn't mind it when Attack on Titan does it because they gave us enough content within the said 12 episode season parts that I felt like it was perfectly fine, and it gave us enough information and enough to consume that the breaks were fine. And it's not like it wouldn't come out like 6 months later. And when it came to the stuff like those middle Rick and Morty parts or all the later half of Attack on Titan parts, they did those so the animators would have enough time to work on set shows. Hell, the last 2 episodes of Attack on Titan are effing movies. But that leads to the question, has Invincible's hype died down? Honestly, I don't know. And I'm not trying to say that to be a contrarian or anything. I don't normally like to go look at social media for stuff when I'm going to make content about something. But I know a lot of people are talking about the said hype being died down. But if you're talking about the hype being died down, are we not just talking about the show still? I'm not sure, but I do think that's a point of conversation to have. So if you have some conversations about that topic entirely, leave those in the comments down below, and let's go ahead and start talking about the Return of Invincible. The Return of Invincible literally coincided with the Return of Invincible coming home to Earth. He's now home in Earth, and he now has this younger brother with him. He has to kind of sort of raise him, I guess. And I love the emotions at play between him and Debbie and Nolan. At this point, Debbie hates Nolan. She wants nothing to do with Omni-Man. She was yelling at his grave the last time we saw her, for Christ's sake. Invincible, he definitely started off like that, but in the last episode we saw him bonding with Omni-Man a little bit, learning how to fight a little bit, training with him for the little time he had, and he was starting to see this weird nuanced aspect towards Omni-Man. Maybe he has changed a little bit, maybe he hasn't, but the fact of the matter is that he was fighting for people beneath him, which is something that you wouldn't think of him to do. So maybe he has changed. So now Mark has this soft spot towards him, and in return, since this is his younger brother, has a soft spot towards him as well. And Debbie, with her conflicted emotions, can see that Mark cares about this kid, so she takes him in and she's trying to help Mark raise the kid as well, while Mark goes to college and tries to get acclimated back into that, but he can't, because he has to go back to space for another mission. Do you guys remember the Mars episode? Did you think that was ever gonna come back? Because I sure didn't, but it did in a big way, because because during that time period is where Shapesmith snuck his way onto the ship to go to Earth, and by doing that, he knocked out one of the actual astronauts so he could change into him and take his place on the expedition back to Earth. But by doing that, those parasites that were there were able to take control of him and take control of the whole planet basically at that point. And now there is a Martian warship headed towards Earth. So they had to assemble a select team of Guardians and Invincible and Adam Eve to go try to stop it, and try to stop it they do. But at the same time, the fucking lizard people show back up and they start a ruckus, so they have to send a B team over there with Rex, Duplicate, and Ray, and they go there to try to fight the lizard people. But oh my god, Duplicate and Ray effing died. What? I was invested in Kate at this point. Why did you kill her off? And it's hella unclear if Rex dies or not. I'm assuming Cecil or some of the other secret agents probably came in there and stopped it in time for Rex to survive, but damn, he got his hand bitten off, so he's gonna have to maybe get a robotic hand or something. I don't know. But that was a crazy comeuppance for people who thought they could relax and take it easy for a bit. I did not expect these people to die. But going back to the Martian warship, they're trying to fight off these parasites almost to no avail. But then Robot has a smart idea to kind of knock them out temporarily, doing some sort of weird EDM wave to stop their nervous systems temporarily. And now he wants to work on a bigger version of that, but to do that, he's going to have to leave his suit to do so. And they stop the episode before we see if it's successful or not. Can they buy enough time in order for Rudy to do this? Assumingly so, because this show's called Invincible, so Invincible's at least going to have to survive. I almost want to think Eve's going to survive as well because she's a main character, but damn it, Kate didn't survive. Ray didn't survive, but she wasn't that important of a character, but I feel like Kate was a little bit at least. But yeah, that was really all of the episode. Most of it was just about Mark going around to everybody and being like, hey, I'm back, this crazy thing happened and now I had to raise my dad's kid. And everybody's like, damn man, that's a lot. I'm glad you're back though. And he's like, oh wait, never mind, I have to go back to space now. I don't think him and Ember are gonna stay together for that much longer. And afterwards, we get an after credit scene. Somebody's waking up, assumingly they've been passed out for so long. Maybe it's Rex, maybe it's not. No, it's Alan. Alan's finally awake and more jacked than ever, which totally makes sense because when I was searching for Alan stuff for a video at one point, I saw a more jacked version of him in the comments and I was like, did they reduce his muscle size for the show or something? But no, it totally makes sense now. Maybe he gets even more jacked later. That'd be super dope. Also, Thaddeus revealed himself to be an older Viltrumite who tried to rebel against them at one point. Maybe him and Invincible will team up. Maybe he's a double agent and he's actually still working with the Viltrumites and he's trying to just get on Invincible's good side to turn on him later. I don't know, because that still goes to beg the question, how did the Viltrumites know Alan ratted them out? Was Thaddeus not the mole? Was somebody else the mole? Who else would be the mole? Is it his girlfriend? I like to still think it's probably just Thaddeus. But with that being said, what are your opinions on Invincible Season 2 Episode 5? Leave them in the comments down below and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Oh yay, Invincible's back. I genuinely hyped about that, so expect more Invincible stuff while Invincible's still airing. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do after Invincible stops. I guess I'll continue to do Static Shock or something. But let me know what you think and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Okay, goodbye.